As the first 5-star, we will have access on the Natlan region. Mualani is ready to catch some waves and nuke every enemy that appears in her path. In this video, I will explain all you need to know about her, how to build her, how to play with her, everything. 98% of you are not subscribed, so please, don't forget to leave your like and a sub if you like this video. It's totally free, and that way YouTube will know you like my content and will start recommending it more for you and for other people as well. All my links are in the description, just as my Twitch channel for a chance of winning free blessings. And before I forget, for those who want to support me even more, you can always become a member. So without any furthers, let's now talk about Mualani's kit. Mualani is a 5-star Hydro Cataclysm user focused on being a DPS for your teams with the use of her enhanced normal attacks provided by her skill. On her normal attacks, Mualani performs up to 3 attacks that deal Hydro damage, and on her charge attack, she consumes a certain amount of stamina to smack a puffer ball that deals AoE Hydro damage upon landing. When you use her skill, Surf Shark Wave Breaker, Mualani can surf anytime, anywhere, and after using this skill, Mualani will gain 60 Night Soul points and enter the Night Soul's Blessing state. During this state, Mualani will continuously consume Night Soul points, which will be indicated by an energy bar that will appear on her side. While Mualani is on the Night Soul Blessing state, she can move on water and lava, and she will take no damage from that. Additionally, her normal attacks will be converted into Sharky Bites, dealing Night Soul aligned Hydro damage based on Mualani's max HP, and she will be able to use these attacks in midair, and the damage dealt this way is considered normal attack damage. When Mualani takes contact with opponents in this state, she applies marked as spray to them and gains 1 wave momentum stack with a max of 3 stacks, and she can gain 1 stack from the same opponent every 0.7 seconds. When Mualani uses an enhanced normal attacks, her damage dealt increases based on the wave momentum stacks. When she has 3 stacks, a normal attack will use a Sharky Surging Bite instead, further increasing her damage and removing all of her stacks when hitting an opponent. So, if you want to maximize the damage of your Mualani, you will want to maximize the wave momentum stacks and then unleash your powerful normal attack. And when Mualani runs out of Night Soul points, or when the skill is used again, her Night Soul's Blessing state will end. And for last, on her burst, Boom Sharkalaka, Mualani fires a Super Shark missile that can track opponents, dealing Night Soul aligned AoE Hydro damage based on her max HP. In other words, they didn't like her having nukes every 3 stacks with the normal attacks, so they also wanted her to have a nuke with her burst. With her exploration passive, the trick is to keep smiling. Mualani will display the location of nearby resources unique to Natlan on your minimap and restore 15 phlogiston when interacting with some harvestable items while in the area with phlogiston mechanics within Natlan. And if you don't know what this last part is, or for what it will be useful, you will understand better on the Natlan passive. With her first Ascension passive, Eat Resistance Freshwater Floater, when her 3 stacks Sharky Bites hits an opponent, a puffer will be generated nearby. Picking this puffer will restore 20 Night Soul points for her, and only 2 puffers can be created in this way during a single instance of being in a Night Soul's Blessing. On her second Ascension passive, Natlan's Greatest Guide, after a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul burst, Mualani will gain 1 stack of Wave Chaser's exploit, which lasts for 20 seconds and with a max of 3 stacks. When she uses her burst, she will clear all the stacks and increase the damage of this burst by 15%, 30% or 45% of her max HP based on the number of stacks you cleared. This passive is something that unfortunately will not be fully utilized until we have more Natlan characters to pair her with. But, at least for now, no matter the team you are using, her burst will always get a 15% increase on its damage. And for last, on her Natlan passive, Night Realm's Gift, Rests and Thoughts, after Mualani runs out of Night Soul points, she will switch to consuming Phlogiston to maintain her Night Soul Blessing. Also, while in an area with Phlogiston mechanics within Natlan, she can use the Night Soul Transmission, where she will enter the Night Soul's Blessing state and gain 40 Night Soul points when the active character is currently sprinting, swimming, in a movement mode caused by certain talents or at a certain height in the air. And then you switch to Mualani when you see her icon turning red. And Night Soul Transmission can be triggered once every 10 seconds by your own team. Additionally, while moving on water and lava during Night Soul's Blessing is decreased by 75% while in Natlan, and her Night Soul point consumption is decreased by 35% while doing the same outside of Natlan. Her talent priorities are the following: focus on your skill first, because that is where your enhanced normal attack multipliers are, then your burst for the extra nuke damage, and for less your normal attacks. Now let's talk a bit about Mualani Constellations for those who wanna go all in on her. On her C1, the damage dealt by the first Sharky Surgent Bite after Mualani enters Night Soul's Blessing and the Shark missiles it triggers is increased by 66% of Mualani's max HP. This instance of increased damage is subject to the damage rules of her skill. In addition, While out of combat, Mualani's Night Soul's Blessing state consumes 30% less Phlogiston and Night Soul points. On her C2, Mualani gains 2 stacks of wave momentum when she enters Night Soul's Blessing state, and she will gain 1 stack when obtaining a buffer. In addition, whenever Mualani obtains 2 buffer within a single instance of Night Soul's Blessing state, she will recover an additional 12 Night Soul points over 2 seconds. Her C3 will increase the level of her skill by 3. With her C4, Mualani regenerates 8 energy when obtaining a buffer. Additionally, her burst deals 75% increased damage. Her C5 will increase the level of her burst by 3, and for last with her C6, the damage increase from the first constellation is no longer limited to being triggered once every Night Soul's Blessing. Now it's time to talk about the best artifact set you should farm for your Mualani. Mualani's best in slot will be the 4-piece Obsidian Codex, the new set from Natlan made for DPS characters. On its 2-piece, this set will provide you a permanent 15% damage bonus while you are on Night Soul's Blessing and on field, and its 4-piece effect will increase your crit rate by 40% for 6 seconds after you consume 1 Night Soul point while on field. And since this effect can be triggered every second, Mualani will always have the permanent 40% free crit rate while she is on Night Soul's Blessing. 4-piece Heart of Depth is a good replacement while you farm for her best in slot if you have good pieces laying around, since you will get 15% hydro damage bonus on its 2-piece and a damage increase of 30% on your normal attacks for 15 seconds after using your skill. If you plan on pairing Mualani with Farina, Mareshosi can also be a replacement while you farm for her best in slot set, since you will get 15% normal attack bonus on its 2-piece and a total of 36% crit rate if you keep losing and gaining HP. And for last, you can always mix and match 2 pieces between the sets that provide HP percent, elemental damage, hydro damage, and normal attack damage. Now that we know the best sets, let's now talk about the best stats you need to be looking for. For the Sense, HP percent or EM if it has better substats or you don't have anyone on your team to give you EM. For the Goblet, hydro damage. And for the Circlet, crits, with a preference on crit damage since she already ascends with crit rate and gains 40% from her best in slot set. For the substats, you should focus on crits, HP percent, ER, and EM. For Mualani weapons, her best in slot will be her signature Surf's Up. A weapon will provide a massive amount of crit damage on its substat, and its passive will increase your HP by 20% while also increasing your normal attack damage up to 48% depending on the stacks during the next 14 seconds after using the skill. And keep in mind that you will only maintain the stacks if you keep triggering a vaporize reaction, otherwise you will lose stacks with every normal attack you do. Another 5-star option you could use on Mualani is Nuvelet's signature Tome of the Eternal Flow, which will also provide a massive amount of crit damage on his substat, but unlike her signature, this weapon passive is pretty much useless besides the free 16% HP it gives. So, if you have this weapon and plan on using it on her, I recommend not going for it and staying with a 4-star option instead. Talking about 4-star options, her best 4-star option will be the Battle Pass Cataclysm Sacrificial Jade, providing a good amount of crit rate on its substat, and its passive increasing your HP percent and EM by a lot during 10 seconds for every 5 seconds you are not on field. Just keep in mind that if you use this weapon, you can completely ignore crit rate on your build, since in a total you will have already 101% crit rate, assuming you will level her up to 90 and that you will use her best in slot set. Her best F2P weapon will be the new craftable of Natlan, Ring of Yaks, which will provide a good amount of HP on its subset, and throughout its passive your normal attack damage will be increased by 0.6% for every 1000 HP you have up to 16% for 10 seconds after using your skill. And since this is a craftable weapon, you can R5 it relatively easy just by farming the game. And for last, for those unlucky players that don't have any of these weapons, you can always end up using the craftable prototype Ember, the event weapon Ashgraven Drinking Horn, or the gacha weapon the Witsit. And regarding the Witsit, it can actually be one of the best 4-star options depending on the buffs you gain, because the only buff she doesn't like is the attack buff. For Mualani teams, as we already realized, she will be an on-field DPS focused on the vaporize reaction, so here are some of my options. For an hyper carry team, pair her with Dia, Furina, and Kazuha or Yunjin. For a vape team, pair her with Xiangling, Kazuha, and Dia or Bennett. For a burning team, pair her with Xiangling, Kazuha or Sucrose, and Nahida. And for an F2P team, pair her with Xiangling, Sucrose or Lynette, and Dendro Traveler, Thoma, or Bennett. Just a reminder that we are still on the beginning of Natlan, so I do believe that as more characters get added, Mualani's performance will also be better. But don't limit yourself into only using these teams. Feel free to experiment and have fun with the characters you want to use. And if you have any questions about who to use to replace characters you don't have, feel free to ask me in the comments. So, what's your opinion about Mualani? Do you think she's worth of launching Natlan? After this guide, I hope you have a more understanding on how to build and play with her. If you like my content, don't forget to leave your sub and to like this video. Your support would be amazing. 98% of you are not subscribed, so press that subscribe button and come join this community. A special thanks to my members for trying to support me even more, and thank you so much for staying until the end. Stay safe, have a good one, and good luck on your pulls.